All right, are we ready?
Yes.
Maya? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. In five, four, three, two.
Oh my God, you made it. It's another episode of We Did That Shit.
I'm Maya.
And I'm Babi.
Hey,
So,
what's going on?
nothing. Why are you laughing?
You know what? I'm always so happy to talk to you. It just puts me in a joyful mood, so I'm always laughing.
Oh, flattery will get you everywhere. I'll take it.
It will. It will. So, how was your week?
My week was good. Oh, still some more progress. You know, the thrill is gone like the prior weeks, but I'm still getting things done. Now I feel like I have to get something done. I'm on a little timeline with this apartment search. And it's getting kind of surreal. I did look at one apartment. It was so nice. And I started crying, and the lady was looking at me like I was crazy, but it was just like, oh my goodness, he's about to be a whole grown man.
Yeah, you're looking at an apartment for your child. That is surreal. And I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. And you're his mom. I'm not ready for this. I just don't know if I feel like, and I know that he could live on his own, but I don't feel like he could live on his own.
Right. Everybody's saying that. Like, they're like, I don't know. Where's the apartment, Marlton? No, that's too far. Like, I feel like I feel like no matter where we go, somebody's going to have a problem with something. Like, yeah, poor Jig. They were like, no, just stay home.
Yeah,
I'll take the apartment.
forever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
But how was your week?
My week was pretty good. I started back on my diet, and I don't want to call it a diet. It's really just another attempt to change my mindset, to do something different. You know, I'm still exercising. I never stopped that, but it's just the eating. You know how I feel about food. I just love it.
Me
And
too.
it's just always a struggle to try to make the right decisions. But we're back on it. And, you know, other than that, my week has been pretty cool getting ready for vacation, to try to enjoy this summertime. And doing a lot of stuff for We Did That Shit.
I
You know?
know. We've been doing it
Yeah.
up lately.
So it's been really very interesting the last couple of days, but I'm enjoying it because, man, I'm just so excited about where the show is going.
Me too. So what are we getting into this week?
This week, we are going to discuss ways to enjoy your summer on any budget.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, any budget, because you don't have to have a lot of money to have fun.
Right.
But if you do, you can surely have a whole lot of fun.
Right, exactly. You can have a whole lot of fun if you have some money, but if
Exactly.
not, man, you can enjoy it just the
You
same.
can.
So we're going to just give you some tips on how to do that.
All right, so before we get into that, let's talk about who did some shit. Now, for the first who did some shit, I just want to say, every time I do something for my children, I be like, remember I did that. They be
Right.
like, oh, thank you, Mom. You're the best and all this stuff. I'm like, remember I did that. I tell my daughter, remember you had a car before you even had a license.
Right.
You remember, and when I see jazzy people, I be like, dress me like that, when I get home. Because it is important that you love your children, as evidenced by this obituary that was in the paper. And it's not long. I'm going to read the obituary. It says, Kathleen Demlow. Kathleen Demlow, maiden name Skunk. Good thing she got married. Was born March 19th, 1938 to Joseph and Gertrude Skunk of Wabasso. She married Dennis Demlow at St. Anne's in Wabasso in 1957 and had 2 children, Gina and Jay. Oh. In 1962, just 5 years after the wedding, She became pregnant by her husband's brother, Lyle Demlow, and moved to California. She abandoned her children, Gina and Jay, who were then raised by her parents in Clements, Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Skunk. She passed away on May 31st, 2018 in Springfield and will now face judgment. She will not be missed by Gina and Jay, and they understand that this world is a better place without her. Well, damn.
First of all, who wrote the obituary? Do you think that it was Gina and Jay's daddy that wrote the obituary?
I don't know. Or
it's probably not her parents because
her parents are probably dead.
Yeah, they're probably
you don't
passed
think Gina
away.
And Jay wrote it?
Gina and Jay, I feel like Gina and Jay approved it. If Gina and Jay didn't write it, I feel like Gina and Jay approved it. But they obviously are okay. Even if they wrote it, they're okay with what it said. So
they're not okay. This is a cry for help. This is
not a cry for help. This is you wasn't there for us, F you, and this just how we feel about you. And it says you will now face judgment.
If this wasn't a cry for help, why write anything?
What are you crying out for help for at this point?
But I'm just saying, why write anything? If you didn't do anything for me, why would
you have to write something?
No, you don't.
Well, listen, they obviously felt the need to write something. I don't think that it was a cry for help because, I mean, at this point, she was old when she died. Right?
They need counseling. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing. She was old. They probably old. So you crying out for help she got married in 1957. That was when my mom was born. And she's 61.
What I'm saying is the children are still alive. They're still hurt by this. Obviously. And they need to this obviously was some kind of cry for help. Even the newspaper withdrew it. They didn't after the first day.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, after the first day they didn't print it anymore because they just felt it was inappropriate. However, if I had paid my money, I don't care what I put in there. If I pay,
you put it in there for the 3 days. Because you pay per letter in the newspaper.
Per line.
Or per word
per line,
or something.
Yes.
Yeah, something. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if I would have paid my money for a 5-day run, they better have given me that 5-day run. I don't care what it says.
First of all, they said that Kathleen was in hell.
Right.
Because it says that she will now face judgment. So, this is a lot. Kathleen must have been a royal BI, but this is what I want to know.
Well, how would they know she left them?
Well, clearly they know something.
They were 5.
She married their uncle.
They didn't say they got married. She got pregnant by the uncle.
Oh, just pregnant. So they got a sister and a brother out there somewhere that's their cousin.
Sister cousins.
Okay, it happens in every family, Kathleen. It does. But listen, this is what I want to ask really quickly. If a person is evil, right, in life, do we acknowledge that in their death? Because, people are evil, just bad people. And then you go to their funerals and people get up there and talk about them like they are Mother Teresa. So this just shows that if you're evil in life, people are going to acknowledge it in death.
Well,
do you think that that's correct? Do you think that's right to do?
And not so much, the old wives' tale, don't speak ill of the dead kind of thing.
Yeah, well.
I mean, really, what does it benefit anyone? So just like in this instance, Gina and Jay felt that way about her, but her neighbors might have thought she was the best thing since sliced bread. And her neighbors over there in California.
Their uncle obviously did. I'm just saying. Listen, but you know what, Kathleen and Gina and Jay, we hope that you this obituary gives you the closure that you need.
Yes.
Healed. It's never too late. It's never too late to go to counseling and get some closure from this.
Right. Sorry about that.
Okay. So speaking of,
healing,
death and healing, Kate Spade, the designer, she committed suicide on Wednesday, June 6th. And according to an article that I read in CNN, police responded to her home in New York at 10:10 a.m. when she was found. She hung herself by wrapping a scarf around a doorknob, and her housekeeper found her, and she wasn't responding, and they came and she was pronounced dead at the scene, and they, ruled it a suicide. And with her suicide, she left a note to her daughter. She had a 13-year-old daughter, and she
I didn't know
left a
she was
note
that
to her
young.
daughter.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she's 13. And she left a note to her daughter. And in the note, she said she wanted the daughter to know that it wasn't her fault. And she should ask daddy about the situation. And according to Business Insider, an article that I was also reading, they wrote that Andy Spade, which was her husband, he was appalled that they would release the note, because he's stating that he hasn't even seen the note.
Wow.
And in the note, it was also some things that was addressed to him. So apparently they had been separated for some time, and he had an apartment down the street from her, and he asked her for a divorce. She apparently hung herself based off of him asking for the divorce. Now, according to her sister, the article also states in CNN that she was depressed for years. And her sister states that she felt that the design, that, bringing on the brand, had made her worse. It made her a full-on manic depressant. Now, she wasn't associated with the brand. She had sold off the brand.
Oh, she did?
Like 10 years ago. Yeah, her and her husband, they were business partners, creative designer partners. And she had sold off the brand about 10 years ago. And so Kate Spade, the brand, they put out a tweet that said, although Kate has not been affiliated with the brand for more than a decade, she and her husband and creative partner, Andy, were the founders of our beloved brand. Kate will be dearly missed. Our thoughts are with Andy and the entire Spade family at this time. And so it just is really, it wasn't like so much shocking to hear what it is. It just brings awareness to the fact that you never know what people are dealing with.
Right.
Mental illness is real. And like I was stating, according to her sister, she never wanted to get help for being depressed. She had been depressed for years, and she never wanted to get help for it. And, it's just a sad situation, because you would look at a person like, you have it all, you have money, you have status, you have, a husband, a child that loves you, and you still feel the need to take your own life. And I just feel so bad for her daughter, because, you say don't feel guilty, but
yeah,
it's
a lot.
Just...
My thing with suicide is, first of all, the first thing is, I cannot imagine how it is to live with no hope.
Yeah.
Because suicide is a very permanent solution to a very temporary problem. No matter what the problem is. And I have been in situations where I just was like, you know what? I just wish all of this was over. Now, I'm not saying I'm suicidal, but you just want whatever it is, the pain to go away, the situation to go away, the person to go away, whatever it is. You just feel like, oh, you tried and you failed, and your life is never going to be nothing. Like whatever it is temporary. There is always another route. And suicide, along with taking your life, takes away all your other opportunities and chances. And just to be alive and feel like there's nothing left. I can't imagine.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I can't imagine feeling that way. I mean, I've been in some really, really low places. And when I'm in a really low place, I be like, Lord, this is ridiculous. I know I need to get myself together because you are better to me than what I am doing right now. You know, so
right,
I
exactly.
can't imagine someone hurting so much that they would,
that you
even with
wouldn't,
people leaving people here that they love, and you know, but at least she didn't kill the baby too, because some people, they do that now too, you know. So wow,
Right.
that's really something. Now I do like Kate Spade's stuff, pocketbooks. There was a coat that I saw was so cute. I was going to buy it last year and I didn't, because I'm trying to not be a compulsive shopper. I wasn't even in the market for a coat. It was ridiculous. So I only went to the store 3 or 4 times after work to try it on. But after the 5th time, I was like, yeah, no, I'm really not going to get it. I'm really not. You know, so, but I don't think I have anything Kate Spade.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything Kate Spade. And, you know, yeah, come to think of it, I don't think I'll buy anything Kate Spade now. I kind of feel like if I do, that's exploitation. I don't know. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, thoughts to her family,
yes,
you know,
that
for
baby.
for moving forward. And so, to go from that to what I'm about to talk about, did you hear about the man who is suing CVS?
Girl, please, I work in healthcare. We talk about this all week. This was hilarious.
So a man, a man in Long Island, New York. I was reading the Huffington Post today, and so I came across this, and it just was it was funny as hell to me.
It's hilarious.
So a New York man claims that the action of a CVS employee turned out to be unhealthy for his marriage. His name is Michael Finberg. He's suing the drugstore chain because he's claiming that he has genuine and severe mental injury and emotional harm, because he took a prescription of Viagra to the drugstore to get filled, but he didn't tell his wife that he was taking Viagra. And what happened, according to the Huffington Post, was, well, really, this lawsuit was obtained by the New York Post. Finberg told a store employee identified in the court papers as Arula that he would pay for the medication himself.
Right.
And they thought it was kind of, like, wow, you want to pay for this yourself? Because the pills is like $60 a
But it
pop.
doesn't matter. A lot of people pay for Viagra and Cialis out of pocket because most insurances don't cover it.
Exactly.
Right. So he's saying
that's
skip
what
all
happened.
that stuff. I don't care. It don't matter. I want it. Go ahead. This is hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what happened. A few days after the prescription was filled, his wife called CVS because she wanted to talk about a whole nother prescription.
Her stuff. It was her stuff.
Be filled. Her stuff. Right. And so he said, Michael, he said that the employee, without solicitation, improperly informed his wife that his prescription for Viagra was not covered by insurance. So of course the wife was like, Viagra? They probably just was going on and on like, yeah, your husband dropped it off, blah, 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 blah. Now my thing is this is what he's claiming. But CVS, of course, is saying it didn't happen. They didn't fire the employee or anything. They're saying that they have a policy against this and this didn't happen. But my thing is it had to have happened, CVS, because how would the wife then turn around and say to her husband, you taking Viagra? So they had to have said something. This violates all kinds of HIPAA laws.
Well, not quite. Not quite. CVS, I'm telling you, this has been the talk of the office. And a lot of people, if you work in healthcare, a lot of the legal teams are studying this case. They're going to follow it because, there are instances where, let's say husband and wife. So we've had all kinds of scenarios. So let's say husband and wife, and it's a CVS. The husband and wife go to the same CVS. Hey, Shirley, you picking up yours? Yeah. You picking up John's? Yeah. Stuff like that. So they talk about, all right, everything okay? You need some further instruction. Oh, they increased your dosage or whatever. So sometimes they have those relationships and they just interchangeably talk. And that's normal, right?
They do. I pick my mom's prescription up all the time from Rite Aid, and they say, I just tell you her name, her birthday. I pick her prescription up. You don't know who I am picking up her prescription. I could look into the bag, see what she's taking, whatever the pharmacist says, all kinds of stuff to me.
So that is, and when you're married, some states consider you one person. So you have that. So, and then there's also the insurance issue. If she is on his insurance or he is on her insurance from a commercial policy, then it may have run through the insurance and they send you bills or they send you statements every month. So she could have found out that way, even though I do believe the CVS person told her. So there are a lot of things, but this is what I'm saying. None of this has anything to do with CVS, because if you are married, right, and you need Viagra, your wife probably knows, that you need Viagra. Right. So the wife was probably surprised because she don't think he needs Viagra and he's taking it for his affair.
Meanwhile, he's taking it
for his
know
affair.
what?
So cheating is what caused you the mental anguish and ruin your marriage, probably. Cheating.
Maybe.
Not this violation for him.
No, listen, maybe. I thought that when I first seen it too. I was like, oh, well, he was mad because, she know he getting it in somewhere else because now he's taking Viagra. But it could be this. You know how a lot of men have medical issues and stuff like that, and, they can't get an erection.
Right.
And so even, he might have tried to take the Viagra on the sly. Maybe they was having a drought in their sex life. Then he tried to take the Viagra on the slide. Then he came back like, hey, girl, I'm ready for you. It may not have been a cheating situation. Maybe he was just trying to please his wife. Maybe his wife was complaining because after 20 years, you was slowing down and he wanted to speed things back up. So now he was trying to do this to make his marriage better. But because you weren't honest with your wife, now your wife is coming back and saying, who the hell you taking Viagra for?
Exactly. Let me tell you something.
But it's an embarrassing thing sometimes. Some people don't.
If you're married, your wife knows if you need Viagra or Cialis.
Maybe not, babe. Maybe I'm telling you, couples get into, droughts. You taking care of the kids. You running around. You ain't making time for the romance.
I don't know anything about it. Okay.
But I'm just saying. It could have been. I mean, listen, the first thing I thought was cheating. But then when I really sat back and I thought about it, I was like, maybe.
This is how I know it's cheating. Because of this overreaction. Because if it was just for his wife, it wouldn't be all of this overreaction. That's how you know it's cheating.
But him,
he was suing and you going crazy and you got mental anguish and all stuff. That's how you know it's cheating, because you doing all of this because when they lie, they will stretch
they
that
go
lie
down with the lie. Yeah, I mean, and here is the thing. I'm not telling you to lie. It was like another, in the previous podcast when I said don't smoke crack. Don't lie. Right. But if you want to lie, ride the lie
and that's
out.
What he's doing. He is riding this lie out because if anything, he could have hit the hustle like, yeah, my doctor said I could get it. You know what we can get for these on the street? You know what I mean?
Or he could have said,
anything.
I'm trying to do something special. It's a special occasion.
Right.
I wanted to go,
but it's a lie.
all night.
Exactly. And that's how I know it's cheating. And that's what makes it so funny.
Damn it, Michael.
To me.
Michael, I was trying to give you a little I was trying to give you an alley-oop, but you out here cheating, Michael.
You out here reckless, Michael. And Michael is
And you must be messing with a young girl, Michael, because you taking Viagra.
Exactly.
What you taking Viagra for?
Michael is willing to risk his heart and his heart conditions
Right.
to put it out there. And he's
Risk it
suing
all.
CVS because his wife is going to take everything. And, he's gonna ride the lie out. And Michael is lying. CVS did not ruin his marriage. His cheating ruined his marriage. I don't care what nobody say. Exactly.
Need to know what's going on, so I'm gonna follow.
And if he's having an affair,
you updated if we hear anything.
Lawyers from CVS is gonna find out because they're gonna do anything they can not to pay that claim. Exactly.
Oh, no doubt. So listen, our last who did some shit for this week is about another brand, Target.
And I'm just for the record, on 2 previous podcasts, the first one was when we talked about consumer affairs, and then the second one when we brought up the who did some shit about the Starbucks. I said, and I specifically used Target as an example, that these companies they're sitting around not doing anything thinking, oh, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect us. It doesn't affect our bottom line. And I said, every company needs to start adopting these policies. But go ahead.
Right. So, I was reading another article when you brought this to my attention. So I said, well, let me look it up because I hadn't heard about it. And I was reading on CBS News.com that Target, they fired a security guard after a black customer says that she was racially profiled. So according to the article, Target fired a security guard at a Michigan store on Monday. And it was 2 weeks after, let me get her name. Hold on. Her name is Ashanae Davis. She was exiting the Southfield, Michigan store on May 22nd, and she was targeted by a black security guard at first. Okay, so the black security guard confronted her, and he said that he thought that she had stolen a bikini, and she had it under her clothes. So then he called over to another security guard who was a white security guard. And that security guard then went to handcuff her and dragged her through the store, yelling that she had stolen the bikini. This is what Ashanae Davis and her lawyer, Jasmine Rand, said at a news conference on Monday. It says that the officers took her to a room. Once inside, a female manager who was also white was called in, and they instructed Davis to lift up her shirt and pull down her pants. And not only did they instruct her to do that, they instructed her to do it in front of the 2 male security guards. And she said that she felt humiliated and forced by the Target employees. Of course, she states that initially I was in shock. I couldn't believe what was going on. She lives in a nearby Detroit area. She said she was scared and afraid of what was going to happen next, and rightfully so. So Target fired the female manager,
as they should
who came in after and made her lift her shirt up and take her pants down, only to be found that the young lady did not steal anything. And I just wanted to point out that also in the article it says that the African American employee apologized to the girl, saying this happens all the time, and he was afraid that he would lose his job if he didn't participate in what was going on. The other 2 who were white did not apologize at all.
Of course they did.
And so,
and I'm just going to say this. This was in Southfield, Maryland. Michigan. Southfield, Michigan. And that's kind of like our Cherry Hill, right outside, of the city. And when I used to have to travel for work, I hated going there. I mean, hated. I have been to Detroit a few times, And like, I never wanted to do anything. I didn't want to spend money in their hotel, their restaurants,
Right.
the Motown Museum, nothing. Because the office that I worked for was in Southfield. So I would come in, I had to go to the office to pick up my supplies and stuff that I needed. I wasn't really working out of the office. I had to go to people's homes and stuff. So my own company that I worked for, the people were rude as hell. Like, oh, well, we're leaving. We're going to put the box in the hallway. What? You know, just rude. And people in Southfield, I was like, I have to get out of here. Now, I will say, when I got to Detroit, in the hood of Detroit, and start seeing patients, I was like, oh, here we go. These my people. Yeah. I'm all right. I felt better. Like, I was like, dag, it could have been a Motel 8, whatever. I wish there was some place I could stay, like, right up in here.
Right here.
You know what I mean? Because I just felt, and like, after the third time, I told my company, I'm not going back there. You find somebody else.
Right.
You know, you find somebody else. And I know you done paid for me to get my license in Michigan and everything. And thank you very much. And I'm not going back. And that's the vibe I got from there. And that was almost 10 years ago. Wow. So, yeah. So I have no interest in going back. So I can just imagine. And when that man says it happens all the time, I believe him. Because it was terrible.
And the fact that he said that, you know, he felt like he would lose his job if he didn't participate. Right. Because, you know, when I read this article and I read it through, I'm thinking, so if he didn't play the game, but he was the one who confronted her, did the white security guard instruct him to confront her? Or did he just take it upon himself to confront her? Because, you know, it doesn't state it in the article, but the way that I'm imagining, if he said that this happens all the time, then they told him, oh, you be the one to go over there and say something to her. And I'm sorry, I just wanted to make a correction. I stated that it was the manager who was fired. It wasn't the manager who was fired. It was the security guard who was fired. I'm sorry. But it also comes after several months after a black man was racially profiled at a Target. Right. So, according to NBC News, like I said in the article, they're stating that this is not the first infraction that Target is accused of in what their employees are doing. And so, you know, we was having a conversation off air about whether or not we were now boycotting Target, and I was like, well, is this a Target you know, problem? But it's just problem. Like Starbucks. Right. because it's just like Starbucks. You know, it was the girl who worked at Starbucks, but if the onus falls on Starbucks, and it falls on Target,
and all these companies need to start now adopting policies and doing trainings, because even if it's not you today, which I keep saying, you know, tomorrow it will be, because everybody, they just out here on the loose. You know, Nordstrom Rack, look what happens with them. You know, it's crazy. Right. So all companies need to start adopting policies right now. Not now, but right now.
Yeah, and they need to let their employees know the disciplinary action that's going to happen if they keep doing this, because, you know, you got to look at your bottom line, companies. And if enough people start boycotting, you know, we have power in the dollar. We talked about that on Consumer Affairs. You know, as Black people, we are the largest group of consumers. We have power in our dollar, and we have to put that, you know, action behind the words that we're saying. We have to show people, you know, you could show people better than you could tell them. Words really mean nothing. Action really do mean everything. And so, yeah, that's what we have this week for.
Well, wait a minute. Before we end Who Did Some Shit, I'm sorry. I just have to make mention of two more things. One, did you hear about the baby in Chicago that the police handcuffed? And he was 10 years old. They talking about they got a complaint about a juvenile or something. And,
no,
you know, so the family is like, that's my baby. What are you doing or whatever? And they telling them to stay back and everything. So of course somebody starts recording it. And the little boy was 10 years old. He was a little guy. And they're asking him all these questions or whatever, and put him in handcuffs, and he was so scared he wet himself.
Well, that pisses me off to no end. Our
This was in
children aren't
Chicago.
afforded that.
Yeah.
Our children, I don't care if it's in Chicago and Camden and Philadelphia and Detroit. Our children, our Black children, are not afforded the same rights as other people's children.
The benefits
Our
of the doubt,
children,
right.
especially our male
Right.
children, are looked at as adults. 10 years old, he is looked at as an adult, not a juvenile. He's not like you have a 10-year-old kid in handcuffs. He is looked at as an adult. That's why they call the pipeline to prison,
Right.
schools to prison. That's why that is such a big deal, because that's how our children are looked at, even as like early as 8, 7. You were talking about you're fearing for your life, you're scared for your life. Our kids aren't going into school shooting them up. Our kids aren't outside doing devilish, evil things and getting accused of them. But yet our kids are being put in handcuffs at 10 years old. And for what?
Yeah, he was just outside playing with his friends. And he just outside playing with his friends, and they claim that they got a call about a juvenile, and and he was so scared that he wet himself, and his family recorded it, and they're outraged. So they're calling on city officials to do something. And you're absolutely right. He's a baby, and
right,
and
10 years old.
Right. And they telling the people to step back, be back, and like even his parents were out there. It was really a shame. But I just wanted to make mention of that, and
I hope they sue the hell out of them. Chicago Police Department has more infractions and more lawsuits and probably any police department at all.
Right, and they're not protecting not a soul. And also, how about Terrell Owens?
What happened with Terrell?
Terrell. So
what happened with Terrell?
Well, Terrell finally got into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he did.
And he declined.
And that was deserved. That was
very deserving. Very deserving.
He deserved
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
And because it doesn't, whether you like him or not, he's a stellar athlete. I mean, he's an
Right.
athlete. So,
Right.
and he declined the invitation to come to the ceremony. He said he had spent time in Canton, Ohio, and there are like a million other places he'd rather be to celebrate this momentous event in his life. And thank you to everyone, but I'll let you know where I'll be celebrating, but it certainly won't be in Canton.
Oh, well, look at you, Terrell. But you know what? This is a catch-22 with you, Terrell. And I'm going to tell you why. Because bravo to you, Terrell, for standing your ground. If you don't want to go to Canton, that's wonderful.
Right.
But this is also plays into the reason why you weren't elected to the Hall of Fame so many years ago when you probably should have been, just because, your arrogant attitude. Now, I'm not saying that he's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it plays up into who people think that you are anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, Terrell was really one of the, when he had his show, I watched his show and I liked it.
I watched his show too.
And I liked him.
It was like Gabrielle Union. It made you look at him a different
it sure
way.
Did, but when he was on Iyanla Fix My Life, that was a good one.
He had
So I mean,
he had a lot going on in his life,
and
that was the one whose his mom was living right across the street from him,
dad.
and they wanted nothing to do with him or something. His dad is somebody really lived and raised a whole nother family,
and
act
like he didn't
he was across the street, act like he didn't even know him, knowing he looked just like him, because you got to look just like him. He looked like somebody.
Exactly.
Terrell, yeah. Damn, Terrell.
Yes.
But I still say bravo for you getting into the Hall of Fame and standing your ground. If you feel like that's something that you needed to do, bravo to you, Terrell. And let us know where you celebrate.
He definitely said
I've been to your birthday party. I like to come.
He definitely said he was going to make it known where he would be celebrating. So that's cool. I like Terrell Owens.
All right.
And congratulations. All right.
So let's go ahead and get into our topic for this week. We need to let these people know about ways to enjoy your summer on any budget.
Yeah, we know about this because, we ain't rich, but
we always balling on the budget.
Always balling on the budget, okay? and you would never know. And, you know, especially me, because I've been through all the stages with the single parenthood. And even when I wasn't a single parent, you know, where you take the kids and where you don't take the kids, you know, stuff like that. So I thought this would be a whole lot of fun. So let's start.
Okay, so look, number one, go to the park.
The park. Your local park.
Yes, listen, you can go to the park, you can play kickball, do yoga, pack a picnic basket, and if you're a parent, watch your babies.
Yes, you have to, first of all, watch your babies. If you're
Watch
not
your
playing
kids.
with your babies,
Right.
make sure you at least watching your babies.
Watching them.
But,
right.
you know, the park can really bring out the kid in you as well. So even if you don't have children, if you go to the, well, I don't know, when you go to the park when you don't have kids, you look like a stalker. I don't know. So maybe like if there's a park with like basketball courts and adults, you need to go to that park. But don't go to a park where there's a whole bunch of kids, you know, and then you the only adult and you just looking like you sitting there stalking the kids. So don't do that. But I have a, you know, when my children were young, there was we had a neighborhood park. And well, it wasn't a neighborhood park because I had to drive them there because it was like the nice park, you know. So we would get in the car and I would pack lunches and everything, and we would drive to the park and they would play, have a good time, you know, drink their juice, eat their sandwiches and everything, and you know we would go home. So a couple years ago, we were going somewhere and they were both in the car, and I mean they were like 18 and 20. You know, something like 19 and 17, something like that. And they were like, "Oh, the park." And I'm just looking at them like, all righty. But okay, it made a difference. And it didn't cost a lot of money. So the park is cool. Number 2 is enjoy your own city or town. Like act like a tourist right where you live. You know, it's a lot of stuff to do in your own town. Well, I live very, very close to Philadelphia. And you know, Maya, I learned recently, my children have been out of school for a while, that, you know, Philadelphia is one of the 6 cities that has a mint. And we went...
You know, I've never been to the mint.
How did you never go to the mint? You went to public schools. It was always a trip to the mint.
Well, I obviously was absent on that day because I've never been.
You don't go to...
I ride by it all the time.
You don't go to
like,
school and they be like, "Oh, you made it. Okay, we going to the mint today." Like, everybody had the class trip to the mint. Right. Everybody had class trips to the mint.
Okay, well, I don't know. I didn't go.
Well, I mean, and clearly I'm just finding out recently that my children have never gone either. Well, they went to private school, but still, I'm like, I paid a lot of money. Y'all couldn't take the kids to the mint?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. So,
well,
you
know that I live in like very close to Washington, D.C. And it's when I tell you that you could really act like a tourist in Washington, D.C., I have lived here for 10 years. Oh, my goodness. Saturday, I will have lived here for 10 years. That 10 years flew by. But anyway, in 10 years, I still have not went to Washington, D.C. to see... They like everything. They have so many things and they're free.
Right.
Most of the museums are free. You know, I could really create my own walking tour.
Right.
On,
in
know,
DC.
it could definitely be something to do. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, and if you live close to a big city, you can use an app like Viator. I use Viator a lot. And you could go get the hop on, hop off bus, you know, all the duck boats or whatever. Like if the city has a lot to offer, we take advantage and be like, it ain't nothing because we live here. But, you know, that's something fun to do. And you may meet other tourists. You know, you can have a grand old time. You never know.
Right.
All right.
So number 3 is, what attraction is a drive away? You know, think about stuff like state parks.
Right. Beaches, lakes,
even though I can't stay in the lake, but yeah.
Yeah. We have a nice Cedar Lake in,
really?
Yeah, it's in, and I really didn't understand what a Cedar Lake was until I got home and everything was brown. And like everything, had a good time. But everything was brown. But a drive away, a tank of gas is not, well, gas goes up in the summer. But if you have, especially if you have children or if it's a group of you, it's something, inexpensive. And usually you could bring your own food. So that really cuts the cost or whatever. So yeah, think about things that are a drive away. Also, that you can get there and get back in one day, so you don't have to rent a hotel room or anything like that. It's always fun.
Right. Like we live close to beaches.
Right.
So we live about 40 minutes away. Well, in New Jersey, it's about 40 minutes away. And even here where I live at now, I don't live far from Ocean City. So, or just take the day and drive down to Virginia Beach, even though it's a little drive away, but it's just like, something to do to enjoy your summer.
Right.
So number 4 is set a goal and achieve it. Like the number of books you want to read, the number of miles you want to walk. If you, like me, if you are trying to get into the weight loss thing, exercising, just things like that. Set a goal and like really work to achieve it. Number 5, meetup.com. Meetup.com is a great app.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. And it's so funny. So when I moved, quick story, when I moved to Virginia, I didn't know what meetup.com was. And I think you told me about Meetup. Okay, either you told me about it and then
somebody else
I met someone else and they was like, oh, meetup.com or whatever. So I went on there, got the app and everything. And I was like, one day we were talking, me and you, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to this meetup. Right. And he was like, you are? And I said, mm-hmm. And because, I have a lot of friends. Mm-hmm. And so like, I'm cool with my group of friends. And I have friends from all walks of life. Right. Kids, from when I was in college, all that good stuff. And so I was telling you, I'm going to go to the meetup.com. I mean, the meetup. And it was a movie. Right. And I remember it was Top 5 by Chris Rock. And then it was drinks after. So I was like, I'm going to go to these. It was like Black Ladies of Loudoun County. And so we went. Anyway, the long story short of it was I met my girlfriend, Janelle there. Yeah. And then it comes to find out we were both from Jersey, and then we connected like that. We exchanged numbers. I never talked to her again. It was just like, oh, this meetup is so nice. It's fun, cool, meet other Black women. And we never talked again. About a year later, she sends me a text and it says, hey, this is Janelle. We met at the meetup. I'm starting a book club. Did you want to join? I'm like, I read all the time. I need friends in Virginia. All right, I'll go. Went. And then I met my group of friends that I now have in Virginia and have had for the last, 2.5, almost 3 years. And they have become very close to me. And we still have our book club. And so meetup.com, I say all of that to say, is a great app, especially if it can open up someone like me. Because I'm not always open to meeting new people in my life, but since I moved, I have to be.
Yeah, because you got a gaggle of friends down there now. Like, it's like, oh, every time I talk to you with somebody else, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So number 6 and 7 are 2 of my favorite things. I used to have a whole list of free fun activities, and I love free fun activities. And these 2 are better without children. I just want to say, right. So number 6 is to test drive cars, and number 7 is go to open houses. And I mean, when I say free fun, I'm talking, I used to get dressed. All right. I ain't have 6 cents, but I look like $1 million. You hear me? And I be going riding up there, my hoopty, talking about, I want to test drive this Jaguar. Right. I used to do that all the time.
You really got to sell it too. Exactly. Yeah, I'm interested. Talking about the features and everything.
Right, and I'm talking about the job that I think that I'm going to have 10 years from now. And exactly, you know what I mean? And it's fun if you go, I've gone with guys, my guy friends and stuff like that. It's just a lot of fun. Same thing with the open houses. They're a lot of fun. I love that. And you know what else I try to do? I try to go either at the very beginning when all the cookies is coming out the oven and all the they got police snacks, or around the end when you can just lounge around in the place like it's yours, and the people be like, I'm outside. They don't even be in there, whatever. I even know a couple people that do a little 1-2. in the little stage bedrooms, but that's none of my business. All right. So
Have a good time.
I mean, you know,
But yeah, that is fun. When I was
Yeah.
house shopping not too long ago, me and a friend were going into like $1 million homes. I don't have $1,000 really,
Right.
you know, but I was going into the $1 million homes and selling it like I was going to buy
Oh, you
one.
know,
But
right.
yeah,
Like, oh
so
no, I really wanted a foyer that was this many square feet.
Right. Or walking in like, this is a little small for my taste.
Yeah, that
Even though
chandelier,
it's
well, that's
4,000 square
cosmetic.
feet.
That can
But,
come
you know,
down.
yeah. Right. Try it out, y'all. It's fun.
It is.
So, number 8 is visit a faraway relative.
Yes. That's
Or
fun.
friend.
Or fun. Right. Somebody where you can actually go on a trip, because most of the times the most expensive part of the trip is a hotel stay. So, you know, if you can just crash at somebody's house that you know, that takes a big chunk out of the budget, and you could go have a great time, especially if you haven't seen them in a while.
Right.
You know, now transportation, I guess the buses are always the cheapest. Well, driving, I guess, is the cheapest. But buses, but
No, the bus is probably the
cheaper than
cheapest
driving.
if you want to take the ride.
You could take the mega bus.
Right. Or the boat bus.
You buy in advance for $1, but I really don't do well with buses. I don't do the bus thing. I will take a train.
You know my experience with bus.
I will take a train.
I almost died on a bus, people.
Oh my goodness!
That's a story for another podcast. But definitely almost blew up on a bus. So me and buses.
Yeah, no. But the train is nice. You know, I take the train. Like, I like to take the train to your house, and it's mostly for selfish reasons, because I just don't like traffic. It's not far, and I feel like I just want to get there. And if I hit traffic, that annoys me. Like, I feel like I could be there. So it's close enough that I could just jump on the train. And I think the train is faster than driving.
It is. And even speaking of trains, even visiting a faraway relative or a friend, a train ride is always nice, because I've taken a train from Philadelphia to Chicago before when I was younger, and just seeing all of the scenery and, you know, going through different places, and you're like, you know, so it is a nice time, you know, and it's something that you can do to enjoy your summer.
Right.
So number 9, host a theme party.
Oh, that's fun.
You know,
like a luau or game night, or
or like a conversation party, or like a spades party, because you know we like to throw spades parties.
Hide the knives.
Only sit down if you know how to play. But yeah, we like to throw card parties. That's always a good time.
Right.
Number 10. Weekend getaways.
Weekend getaways are great. Now, this is if you got a couple more dollars. This is not, you know, super low budget. But some of the things are free, and some of the things, you know, we're just saying on any budget. So this is how I do Vegas. And I think I can get maybe about 5 more years. I'm hoping I can get like 5 more years of this, because, you know, soon I'm going to get tired. But so what I do is, when I do Vegas and I want to catch a show on a weekend, I don't take time off of work, because, you know, I got my job now has this accrual time thing, whatever. I don't know. I'm allergic to it. I hate it. So, I usually take a flight. I leave Philadelphia at like 6 or 7 o'clock, and I take a Benadryl and have a glass of wine as soon as I get on the plane.
Okay.
I take a good 5-hour nap to fly there, you know, but when I get there, it's only 8 o'clock. I put my stuff down. I'm doing Vegas. You know, I'm doing Vegas Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Sunday, I get on the red eye. I leave like Vegas, 8 o'clock their time. Get me a Benadryl and a glass of wine as soon as I get on the plane. Fly home. I get home like 6:30, back to Philly. Go home, drop off my bag, take a shower. I'm at work at 8:30. And I can make it through the whole work day. But when I come home Monday after work, I'm going to bed.
You are, dead to the bed, honey.
I'm going to bed.
Dead to the bed.
And I think I can do this for about 5 more years. That's how I do Vegas.
Okay.
Like when I go to,
Well, take me with you the next time you go.
I'm going August, 11th. Stevie Wonder, hello.
Excuse me, but I thought that you were going to be somewhere else
No, the
during Stevie
August.
Wonder's.
Oh no, he Stevie Wonder is going to be in Las Vegas the first 2 weekends in August. So the first weekend I'll be in Lisbon, so I won't be able to make that show. But I'll be back for the second weekend, and I'm going to do that little Vegas getaway. How I do, get in there, see my boo, get on out.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
I know.
So,
I'm excited.
number 11 is day trips.
Yes.
You know,
day trips are cheap and they're very accessible. So every local newspaper on, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, depends on your paper, has a travel section. And they have like neighborhood bus trips, church trips, if you want to try to brave that.
Yeah, well,
you heard about what happened on our church trips, but hey,
right.
If you feeling brave, you go ahead and do it. If you're a member of AAA has day trips all the time in their local offices and stuff like that. Bus trips here, there. New Jersey has 21 wineries.
And so does where I live at. Oh my goodness, they have so many wineries that I've never been to any in 10 years. What have I been doing in 10 years? Coming to New Jersey, this is what I've been doing. But and try Eventbrite. They always Eventbrite.com. They always have day parties going on or day events that's going on, and a lot of that stuff is free.
Right.
So yeah, day trips are always a good time. Number 12, try a new recipe.
Yes. Recipes are fun, and cooking gatherings are fun. So, and those things are also listed in the papers. You'll be surprised at how many restaurants and kitchens have gatherings and cooking demonstrations. You can plan to have a group go. If you have a Kitchen Capers, Kitchen Capers is that store that sells every kind of cooking and kitchen gadget ever made. But they have like anything. Yeah, they have like kitchen set up and like with a counter, so you can actually have parties in there. You can invite your certain amount of people and stuff like that. They do cooking demonstrations and utensil demonstrations and all kinds of stuff like that. It's the Reading Terminal has the Cucina Kitchen. So
you can go to places like Joanne Fabrics or Michael's. You can do sewing parties, try new recipes, but you can also add in, different things like that. Going and having sewing parties, going to sewing demonstrations, just things like that.
Right. So, yeah, it's fun. So number 13, and this is a very, very good one. Volunteer for a charity. So
yes.
This year in May, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, say that again.
The Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles hosted their first autism run walk. So it was really nice. It was in May and not April. Well, who cares? They're champions. But it was a really nice day to, if you wanted to walk, run, or volunteer. They were looking for people to just get involved. So there's a lot of volunteer activities that you can do outside. And who knows, you could be like Nova on Queen Sugar. Your boo come down. They talk about what they said. They needed all hands on deck, Hey.
Well, listen, I need to start volunteering. Okay.
Golf tournaments,
Number
they
14.
Got money. I'll volunteer for a golf tournament. Right.
Shout out to 12 Kyle. Thanks. Number 14, go to a show at a local theater company.
Yeah, so them people that you grew up with that wanted to be a star, this is where they are. And some of those plays be good, though. Some high schools put on very good annual shows.
Listen, around here, some of the areas around here are affluent, and these kids put on shows like The Wizard of Oz and Hansel and Gretel. I mean, they do it up. It is big budget productions where you can really make a night out of it and go to a show. And a lot of times the stuff is like $10,
exactly,
or even a donation when you go to places like the Freedom Theater over in Philadelphia, where you can see shows, or it just even be a part of like, they may have like some classes, dance classes, all kinds of stuff that you can do at your local theater companies. That's
always a good thing to try. Number 15, and this is for me and my fat self, Try
And me
new
too.
restaurants. Try new restaurants. Now, I remember the Food Network used to have a show. It was called The Best Of. And so they would have like the best of fried chicken, the best of Mexican food, the best of anything. So anything that was the best of that was local, South Jersey or Philadelphia, we used to hit all those restaurants. Because,
Right.
you know, so if you go on the Food Network's website, like diners, drive-ins, and dives, you know, if they're close to you, you can make up a day of it, you know. And
Yep.
I have also tried these things. I mean, try it if you like. I've been to a restaurant and tried everything on the menu, like Queen Latifah in that movie Last Holiday.
Or like you do every year when you go to Essence and you order everything on the Willie Mays menu. Oh, like that.
Yeah, like Queen
Okay.
Latifah in Last Holiday in the
No.
movie.
Right. Well, you had
She
Queen
said-
you had the Queen Latifah moment. You
She
know,
said,
and don't
"Oh."
share. But that's a whole nother thing for
Well,
another
I'm just
time.
saying, you never know when you can get back there. So you want to try everything.
Right.
Just, you know, you try everything. Now they might add the gratuity to your bill, thinking it's more people at the table
So
than it
many
actually
people.
is. But hey, you can handle it. Also, I have gone, and I read this somewhere some years ago. But if you go to a restaurant and if you go by yourself and sit at a table and start writing things down, or you go with another person and you're dressed professionally, you have conversation and look like you're writing things down. Sometimes they think you're a food critic and they say, "Oh, the chef just wants you to try this, try this," and you can get free stuff. It works. I'm telling you.
Or like you say, it's your birthday all the time, and then you get the free dessert.
Yes. As long as they don't ask
and
me your
that's
license.
something wonderful to do on any budget.
Or any budget.
Yes, for the summer. So number 16, catch some concerts. Try outdoor venues. You know, a lot of places have free concerts. You can follow a tour
Woo, woo.
or get season tickets to a venue.
It's like here at the Camden Waterfront, and a lot of people come from Philadelphia too. We have the Sunset Jazz Series. We've been doing it for years. I used to take my children when they were young. I used to pack up their dinner, lay a blanket out, and you know, kids would just listen to the music, sit there, and have a lunch, and take them home. They're out there every week, and it's fun and it's absolutely free. You know, you have to pay for parking.
And they have great artists.
They do. They have great artists every week. Following a tour, something I always wanted to do. I'm going to get it done this summer because Stevie Wonder, I'm going to just follow, you know. All of it is in August. I'm not taking no days off of work. I'm going to be tired, but that's okay.
She going by herself to Stevie Wonder High. And I love you, Stevie. But I'm balling on a budget, remember.
Well, you said we're going to what? National Harbor, right?
Yeah, and I might come to Vegas.
Yay!
I have to see how my funds is looking.
Come to Vegas.
See how my funds is looking.
Yeah.
But that's always something great to do. Number 17, go to an amusement park.
Yeah, they're everywhere now. They're all the big thing. I think I had more fun when I was younger at the amusement park. I think I'm amusement parked out myself.
Did. I am. Unless it's a water park. And even with that, I hate standing in the lines. The thing about amusement parks are this. They're a great thing to do, especially if you like the thrills and all that great stuff. For me, though, it's just hot. You know, amusement parks are open. They don't have no shade.
Right.
You go to Disney, you go to Six Flags, you go to King's Dominion, Busch Gardens. I mean, wherever you go, Wally's World, I don't know if that exists. It's no shade. Put some trees in amusement parks.
I know.
But it's a great thing to do for the summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I heard that if you buy season tickets for Christmas, they're the cheapest for amusement parks. I didn't know that. I learned that recently. Number 18, do an Ancestry.com heritage search or go to your family reunion.
Fan reunion.
Yeah. So this whole heritage search thing is really a thing now. Everybody wants to know where they come from, who they are. I know my daughter has a membership. Now, she ain't have no job, but she's paying $20 a month to Ancestry.com to keep up her family tree and all this stuff. And one day I was like, Adasia, what is this? She kept asking me for this $20. And I was like,
right.
What are you doing? And she was like, no, so I could pay my Ancestry.com. What? Like, I don't even know these people.
Right.
What are you doing? But it's something that she's really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a thing now. A lot of people do it. Number 19, yes, please. A day spa package.
Oh, yes, please, for me too.
Yes,
Day
please.
spa packages are always a good thing. I mean, it's something great to do in the summertime. You can do it even at your local nail salons. Go have a mani pedi, go to your local spa, get a facial. They're
Mm-hmm.
always a good time. You can take a friend or you can just go by yourself and have a relaxing day, which I like to do. I like to just go, have a massage, a facial, at not a mani pedi at the spa, but and just relax.
Right. And
Yeah,
get
they
your
don't
Tiffany
do,
Haddish on. Go Groupon.com.
yeah,
Because you can get some
that's
fancy
right.
schmancy massages on them Groupons.
Groupon is probably the best invention that someone has ever come up with. You
Mm-hmm.
can literally get anything and everything that you think of, vacations,
Right.
everything on Groupon.com. It's a great tool and they have some really good things on there. So definitely check that out. And number 20, last but not least, host old movie nights. Get out your
Yes.
DVDs, popcorn, sodas, blankets, pillows. You can do that inside or outside in the yard.
Right. And just some old movies, things that we enjoyed watching when we were young. Especially, this is a good activity if you have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because my children watch some of the old movies that I used to watch when I was a kid. Because, I just
Mm-hmm.
started them early, so they know we used to love musicals, so my kids have seen just
Right.
about every musical and know all the words to the musical, but it's fun and it's not expensive. So,
Right.
summer, I don't know what the weather is where you are, but here summer is not quite here. But it is
Right. Not
coming.
yet.
It is coming, and you really can enjoy summer on any budget. There are a lot of
Budget.
fun things to do, and make sure you take time out to do something fun.
Yes. And we hope that you enjoyed our tips and we hope that you take something from this list and go out and do it and let us know, what you did and how you did it. And you don't have to let us know your budget, but yeah, let us know if you took any tips from the list. And so we're going to go ahead and get into our personal journals this
Okay,
week. I guess I'll start. You want me to
that's
start?
fine.
My personal journal this week is really about expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Um I tell my friends a lot of time, well not a lot of times, really all the time. I tell my friends, I give the advice of don't put the expectations that you have on other people.
Right.
You know, I have friends that call me and say, "Well, I wouldn't have done that and I wouldn't have done this." And it's like, "Yeah, you wouldn't have, but you're not that person. And you can't take what you would have done or how you would have done it and put it on somebody else because they not you."
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to talk about expectations this week because recently I put expectations on something
Mm-hmm.
that I shouldn't have
Oh, okay.
at all. And it really amazed me. And at first I thought, oh, this is growth. I'm going into a different direction. I'm trusting a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case is. But the expectations that I put on someone else, it really showed me that how I maneuver my life is best for my life. And the advice that I give to other people, not to put your expectations on, take your own advice,
Right.
because I literally preach that, I drill that into people's heads, all the time. And for me to let my guard down and put my expectations on how I would do things on someone else, and then it to backfire on me, it was very telling that no, Maya, you ain't doing stuff so bad. Your years on this earth have shown you that you should maneuver in a way that's best for you. And so continue to do that. And so personally, I want to take my own advice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that I won't ever go down this road again as far as putting expectations on someone
Mm-hmm.
else, the expectations of what I would do or what I would want or how I would move. I'm not saying that it won't ever happen again, but it'll be a little minute before it happens again. And so, yeah, I don't think I'm doing so bad. And so I want to take the expectations out of anything, anything. You expect people to treat you good. You expect people to be kind to you. You expect a lot of things, but that doesn't always happen. And so, yeah, personally, I just want to take my own advice moving forward. And that's what I got for my personal journal this week. You have anything?
Well, for my personal journal, I want to talk about permission. And permission is on my vision board. It says dare to take the leap. And I had to learn that I give myself permission to be who I am. And whatever that means to me in that moment, not in a selfish way, but I give myself permission. I give myself permission to love myself the way, even the way I think I want to be loved by another person. I give myself permission to love myself that way. Right. I give myself permission to have purpose. And I give myself permission to put myself and my needs before others. I give myself permission. And that's a big thing for me. Because I'm always thinking like, oh, I'm tired, but let me go because such and such needs help or such and such needs this. But I give myself permission to love myself first and to give myself purpose. So, and I'm not doing it with explanation. Right. So, I have created, I was thinking about, when I get up in the morning, you know how you have a routine, whether it's conscious or subconscious or whatever. Like there's just certain things you do in the morning. And I had been noticing that I've been missing things. I get to work and I don't have my ID, or, I forgot my wallet, or things have been happening. And I had to do an inventory. Like, what is going on that you can't get these basic things done? And also, I'm a Sagittarian, and we are very fly by the seat of our pants kind of people. And I used to always say, like, oh my goodness, the Lord gave my son who has autism a mother who has no kind of plan, such a fly. Right. Because they are so structured and regimented. And I'm like, this is crazy. But, it worked out. But that's just who I am. So I created a morning routine for myself. 10 things that I do every morning. And it has really worked. And I really do believe that this has led to my productivity. I believe, I'm a very spiritual person. I do believe that everything pertaining to life is in the Word of God. And so I have assigned a scripture for each of those things. But the 10 things that I do in order is I get up. When I wake up, I physically get out of bed. I do not hit snooze anymore. I get out of bed, even if it's just standing up on the side of my bed. I give thanks. I smile. I say my prayers. I read my whole vision board. I stretch for about 10 minutes. And then I do my personal care. I make breakfast. I eat breakfast. And I practice mindfulness. And I do this before I get in the car every day. And it has really helped me. It keeps me calm at work when them banshees is acting like banshees. Right. And I just be like, this is not my circus. These are not my monkeys. And I just move on. So I give myself permission. And that is my personal journal.
Nice. I like it. I might have to copy that list because that's a good one. That's a good one. I might have to copy that. Okay.
So that wraps it up for this week. And podcast family, we would just like to say thank you. We really do appreciate every listen, every subscription, every rating, every follow, every post, tweet, reply, reaction, email, every text message, every phone call, every share. We really do appreciate all you do to support the podcast. When Maya and I first launched, we did that shit. We had no idea what to expect.
None.
People had been telling Maya for years before this that she should be a blogger because you see how she keeps up on all the pop cultures and all this other kind of stuff. She's, very passionate about certain topics. And even at least 2 years before we started the podcast, we had been talking about starting a podcast. So when we actually heard our first episode on New Year's Day,
Yes.
it was so surreal. Like, we did that shit. We
really did.
So we had no plan, no goals, and not that we didn't think that we were going to be successful, but we just said,
because we knew we were going to be successful.
I mean, it's us.
Yeah,
So,
because we're successful people.
Exactly.
But go ahead.
So we were just saying, let's give it 6 months and see what happens. And what happened was that we've learned a lot of new things. We've met a lot of new people. We've been offered new opportunities. We've had a bunch of fun, and we've laughed
all the time.
A whole lot. So, most importantly, though, we did decide that we do want to continue the podcast.
Yes.
But in that, there are some things that we would like to restructure. So this will be our last podcast episode until Essence Fest in New Orleans. And if you're going to Essence, holla at us. All of our social media will still be active.
Yes.
We will be there
We're gonna be
Thursday,
out there.
July 5th. And we'll be there until Tuesday the 10th. And we're going to share all of our adventures with you. This is not a break. We just want to be better. And, we're going to try to learn Periscope and Facebook Live and all of that so that we can, participate and engage as much as we can.
Yeah, and we are going to learn all those things because we are going to bring you a live show.
Yes.
When we are in Essence.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to bring you a live show. So look forward to that because that's coming.
And there may be a lot of them. There may be like a lot of blurbs because, we really do have a good time at Essence. This is what, like Essence our 15th year in a row going at 12?
I don't know if it's that long, but it's definitely been about, I don't know if it's been that long, but it's definitely been about 10 years. Yeah, but listen, when we go to Essence, we have an experience. And every year we have another story, another thing that happens to us. And so we are going to try our best while we're enjoying ourselves to bring all of our adventures to you.
Right. So, and this is not a break. And I just want to make that clear. We have created a survey on SurveyMonkey, and we're going to put it on all of our social media sites so that you can click on the link. We would like you, it's just 10 questions, and the answers are there for you to choose from, and you can put a comment if you want to, but we just like to know what you think on our SurveyMonkey. And all your information is valuable. So we're just asking everybody to stay connected with us on social media, complete the survey, and we will be at Essence Fest 2018. Woo, woo! It's going to be a blast. Woo. I'm going to get all tan and everything. Ow!
Yeah, me too, because I'm going to Mexico before that. But
right, you're going to come tan.
Yeah.
I'm going to get tan.
Right.
and you'll see us too because Maya said we're gonna wear t-shirts. So you'll definitely know it's us. Okay.
We're gonna be out there promoting the podcast. But listen, as my wonderful co-host said, remember this is not a break. We are just taking a little bit of time off from now until Essence Fest to just, make the show better for you. Like Bibi said, SurveyMonkey, the survey will be added to all of our social media sites. We'll put it in the description for this episode, and take the survey, hit us up, let us know what you're thinking of the show. We hope that you have been enjoying. We did that shit so far. We have surely enjoyed bringing it to you, making it a reality. And where the show is going, it is just, we are doing big things. We have big things planned, and we just hope to become better and better and betterer, like Vivi has said so many times, betterer. Yes, it's a word. We created on We Did That Shit, betterer. So we thank you for sticking with us. We thank you for taking this ride with us thus far, and we can't wait till Essence Fest to bring you the live show. But so we're going to go ahead and get out of here for this week. We hope that you really enjoyed the 20 tips that we gave you to have a great summer on any budget. Remember, it's not a budget, it's any budget that you have. We hope that you take something from this list, and again, let us know what you took. Let us know what you did. Hit us up on all social media sites, y'all. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. Again, it's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. One word, We Did That Shit. You can always hit us up on email. Send us how you liking the show. Take the survey. If you just want to leave us a little comment, a little blurb, you want a topic that you want us to talk about, something you want us to mention, hit us up on email, and we can be found wedidthatshit@gmail.com. That's wedidthatshit@gmail.com. Always remember that you can follow us personally on our social media. You can follow me at MyMy13. That's MYMY13.
And I'm at the Biamina. That's BIBBIAMINA.
Yep. So we'll be back July 5th. That's when we are going to be in New Orleans. Don't forget, y'all. But in the meantime, between time, catch up on our 23 episodes that we got out thus far. Hit us up on social media, and we will see you in about, 2.5 weeks?
Yep.
So,
holla. Remember, be great this week. Do that shit.
We Did That Shit podcast is produced and edited by Selena Singleton and brought to you by Wonderful Me Media. Wonderful Me Media. What's wonderful about you?